Investigators have now spoken out about the mysterious murder that took place at the Burning Man festival, and they say that they are dealing with a nightmare scenario because everyone has now left Burning Man, and they have dispersed to not only every different state across America. Investigators say that attendees have dispersed to over 72 different countries. So the people who were at Burning Man, they're now all over the world. And the investigators don't even know where to begin. And their interviews with a few people who were there, they're not able to find out too much in these interviews. Because you got to think, this took place in the middle of the desert. There's no real identifying markers out there like you would have in normal life. Like, for example, in a normal investigation like this, they would talk to witnesses, and a witness might say, hey, I was on 6th Street and I saw this happen. Or, oh, I was over, there downtown by the park and this happened. This situation that they're dealing with happened in the middle of the desert. So a lot of the people they're talking to, it's like, oh, well, maybe I saw this over by that pile of sand, or maybe over there by that sand. There's no real identifying markers. They're just out here in the middle of nowhere. The structures and areas that do exist, a lot of them don't have designated names. The ones that do, it doesn't matter anyway, because everyone who is out there, or the majority of the people out there, are drunk and high as hell. So they don't even know what's going on. Plus, at Burning Man, they have this what happened at Burning Man stays at Burning Man type of mentality. So no one really likes to talk to law enforcement or anyone else about certain things that happen at Burning Man anyway. And investigators can't rely on basic things like, oh, maybe we found a shoe print. There are thousands of shoe prints out there. They can't rely on, oh, we found, someone dropped this. The killer must have dropped this piece of tissue or this bag, or we found this fingerprint. We found this hair. We found this. We found that. They can't rely on anything like that because there's all types of trash. People are dropping all types of things. The argument can be made that any evidence they find could belong to anyone. Because you got thousands, tens of thousands of hippies on hallucinogenics dancing around a freaking burning effigy like the cult version of Whoville from The Grinch. When they all get around the tree during Christmas time? Yeah, that's kind of what's going on, except everyone's on shrooms and LSD. So they got that situation playing out. So anything they find around the body, it could belong to the suspect or it could belong to anybody. So they don't know where to begin, like I said. As they've put it, nightmare scenario. And not a lot of people are talking about this case. But it looks like this may be one of the most complex investigations ever. Now, earlier today on the news, they did have a forensics expert on speaking about this case and the battles that investigators are going to face trying to figure out who did this. I want to go ahead and play that clip for you guys really quickly. But first, if you're here, if you like the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Click that thumbs up button. It helps the channel a lot. Like I said, not many people are talking about this, so share the video. And with that being said, let's go ahead and roll that clip, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
For more on this, let's bring in Joseph Scott Morgan, Distinguished Scholar of Applied Forensics at Jacksonville State University in Alabama. Joseph, thanks for being with us. You heard Donna Rotuno there. She said it's basically an investigation like this impossible. And then we also saw that the Pershing County Sheriff told Salon today that there were people at this festival from more than 72 countries. So you're potentially looking at suspects who have fled to the far corners of the earth.
The ultimate nightmare scenario, and for multiple reasons in this case. For one, You've got an area that you can't think of this as like a town, where you have gridded streets even, you work an outdoor scene, perhaps. You have an address that is a reference point. That doesn't even exist here. You just got these kind of very not well demarcated areas, and anybody can come and go. That's number one. Then you've got this mass of humanity crawling on top of one another in there. And as was mentioned, perhaps they were in altered states out there. You're not going to get a direct answer from anybody. If you have any trace evidence that could have walked off with the potential perpetrator or anybody that was adjacent to this event, and just think about this. You've got an area out there that's completely unimproved, and one of the kind of the benchmarks in forensic science is we go out and we look for things like footprints. Can you imagine how many people have stepped over this area immediately adjacent to this body? Some of them might not have even been aware that they were walking on or around a dead body. They might just have assumed that this person was passed out.
In a pool of blood, though, I mean, part of me is thinking maybe they got an upper hand here because presumably in this kind of a scenario, you'd have so many witnesses, right? Maybe not witnesses to the actual murder itself, but, to the corpse, to, the environment.
Yeah, who are you going to track down, though, relative to who was standing immediately adjacent to this individual? Again, they're in the wind at this point in time, perhaps, and they don't have an awareness of what had happened. And this could be a singular event where these two individuals, I'm assuming there was only one other perpetrator, perhaps not. They got into some kind of tete-a-tete. A knife was pulled or a bludgeon was pulled, or, if it's really loud, maybe even a firearm. I doubt the firearm, though. And then this individual is assaulted and left for dead out there. It's going to be very difficult from not just the investigative side of the house as a homicide investigator, but also as the forensics go. Because if you're thinking about, I know that one of the first things people think about, well, why can't you track this down through perhaps trace elements of DNA? Well, yeah, I guess you could say that would be a possibility, but how are you going to run down any kind of DNA that might be around this individual? You're talking about thousands and thousands of people that have been in this individual's orbit for a protracted period of time.
So I was doing some reading, Joseph. It turns out that Burning Man doesn't sound terribly safe. 8 people have died there during the festival since 1990. That's one person every couple of years. Does that surprise you to hear?
No, it's not, because it is utter chaos. I mean, they kind of all dance around the flame at the end to bring it to a conclusion, and there are events that go on, but there is no true organization. Remember, this is in a very isolated area of Nevada, and a lot of Nevada obviously is very isolated. When they begin to talk about the location of this event, this is even more so isolated. That's one of the reasons they do it there. And so, look, God bless the law enforcement that are out there trying to maintain control, but it's like trying to stem the tide of the ocean out there. You can only do so much, and all of this has happened out there. I think that they're going to have a very, very difficult time coming up with solid answers. I hope that they do, but let's start with the cause of death first, find out where that leads, and then we'll go from there.
I mean, it definitely does not sound promising.
I get such an eerie feeling about this case. And I mean, I guess it's kind of obvious why, because it happened at the Burning Man Festival as they're burning the effigy. It's like something straight out of a horror movie. A lot of people have compared it to Wicker Man. I compared it to Wicker Man a few years ago. It's some wild stuff to think about, because whoever did this could be somewhere across the world by now. And it wouldn't be suspicious for them to be somewhere across the world, because, as I said earlier, and as they said in that news clip, there's people from over 72 countries at Burning Man. So someone from across the world could have came planning on doing something crazy and did it and just went home like nothing happened to freaking Turkey or something. You know what I mean? They could have went anywhere. I kind of want a turkey sandwich right now. Sorry. That's the first thing that came to mind. But yeah, they could be anywhere. And it's not suspicious. Like, all right, If this was a festival with only people from the U.S., and the cops tracked down everyone at the festival and they saw that one person at the festival fled the country, that would be suspicious. It's not suspicious for these people to be going back home. They already had plane tickets. They already had plans to go back home. So, I mean, just little details like that would stick out to investigators, like suspicious activity. It's hard to track the suspicious activity. Everything is suspicious out there, if you ask me. But yeah, people traveling and leaving and going God knows where, there's nothing suspicious about that. That's how tens of thousands of people are leaving America as we speak, leaving Burning Man and flying back home to places all over the world. So little details like that investigators could try to find and pinpoint, they can't really do it here. And another reason why I get such an eerie feeling is because they can't identify the guy. So obviously he didn't have any identification on him. None of the people they have talked to so far can identify him. And you got to think that he's out there with someone. He knows someone there. Obviously they're not saying anything. But think beyond that. Does he not know anyone? Is this just someone with no connections to anyone at all? Is there anyone out there somewhere who has realized, hey, my brother, my cousin, my husband, my baby daddy, I ain't heard from him. He went to Burning Man and I haven't heard from him. And when I know someone got murdered at Burning Man, maybe it's him. Like, no one's asking about this guy? No one has come forward like, hey, I have a friend or a loved one that went to Burning Man and I haven't heard from him in weeks. He was supposed to be home by now. Nothing. Nothing at all. It's really odd. It's really odd for sure. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. No one really is out there at Burning Man alone. You know someone, you got a friend. He had to travel there. He had to get there somehow. So if investigators can't find a car that belongs to him, and as far as we know right now they haven't, then who took this guy to Burning Man in the first place? He did not walk there. Someone took him there and left without him. Not only did they take him there, but they left without him, knowing, because everyone that went there knows someone got killed there. Trust me. So, either this guy's got friends that just ain't talking, maybe they're responsible or something, or somehow, some way, this guy mysteriously just ends up there dead at Burning Man, like a sacrifice. Not trying to get too deep into conspiracy theory territory here, but it happened during the burning of the man, which is really odd. And it's as if this guy doesn't exist right now. And it's been days. It's been long enough that you would think that they would have some sort of information from someone, but no one is saying anything at all. And I just feel like this could have been something planned. If this was something spur of the moment and an altercation, I feel like we would have more witnesses. Someone would have seen something. There's police and law enforcement out there as well. Maybe they would have seen commotion. Feels like something that just happened really quickly without causing too much of a scene, which is also kind of odd, kind of creepy. Makes you feel like it was planned. But you guys go ahead and let me know what you think about all of this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.